I am Nick Shell, a certified Enneagram coach and a control freak. Let's just say that I am. I think that that's something I've definitely come to terms with, come to peace with. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So as a certified Enneagram coach, I always run everything through those filters and think, okay, I'm Enneagram 6. I'm the person who is ultimately looking to see what can go wrong so that I can prevent it or fix it or troubleshoot it, problem solve. That's my superpower. Am I a control freak? I think by default I am. I think that if you're wired to be problem solving all the time, I mean, my brain is Tetris all the time, or my favorite, Dr. Mario. All the time, that's how I see the world. Everything, all the pieces are falling and I'm trying to match them up in time before they fall. That's what it's like to be Enneagram 6. So am I a control freak? Yes, but I think as I've gotten older, I've become better at it. I think you can be a healthy control freak versus unhealthy. I'm gonna try to quickly explain what this looks like. When I was a kid, let's say, 80s, 90s, when I was a kid, I didn't know what Enneagram was. I didn't know how I was wired. I thought all people were basically the same. No, now I know differently. But back then, here's how my control freakness came out. This is so weird. But as a kid, I would get nail clippers and I would clip these parts of my skin and give them just enough time, well, not necessarily my thumb, but I give them just enough time to grow back and then I clip them again. I would bite my nails. I would do the whole OCD thing about light switches. All of those, oh, just now I only did it 2, I should have done it 3, that sort of thing. That was what it was like to be as a kid. And as I grew out of that, and I don't have those issues anymore, but they became probably more useful. I mean, even what I do for a living, it's all about problem solving all the time and finding the quickest and most efficient way to do it. So I can compare myself to a decade ago when I was a vegan. I'm not putting vegans down because I was a vegan for most of my 30s, but I think looking back on that, a lot of it was me thinking I have so little control over my life, especially at that time in my life, I need to control something. And then even now, okay, I'm not a vegan, but I could count on my macros. I'm at the gym 5 days a week for an hour, plus I either go running or rucking or running for, an extra hour. So I have my regimen, I have all this stuff. Because as a 42-year-old man, I want to be able to be in control of my own body. There's so few things you can control in this life. So you find a few that you can control and in a healthy way, and you do that. Just like you can't control other people. Like how far along do you have to get in life to realize that? I mean, I guess it depends on the person. I'd say sadly for me, it was only a couple years ago that I finally accepted I can't control other people. But more importantly, why am I wanting to control other people? I mean, I think a lot of times we want to, quote, control other people because we want to help them and we want to show them the right way. We can't make people do the right thing. We can't make them believe what we want to believe. We can't prove that we're right. That's one of the whole things I talk about a whole lot is how there's really no reward in being right. And you can't really prove someone's wrong and still get their respect. That's something I've talked about for years on this channel. So yeah, control, I mean, I don't think control freak has to be a negative concept. I think it can be positive. I think it can be healthy. I think if you're wired to be a control freak, it's a matter of you becoming emotionally intelligent to the point that you know how to use it for your good and not for bad. We can look at any character trait and we can find how that can be a good thing. You could be really bossy. It's not necessarily a bad thing. That could mean that you're a strong leader. But you can be bossy in a bad way. You can be anything in a good or a bad way, and we're all wired a certain way. So it's a matter of finding out what are our attributes. I made a video recently saying the number one word to describe me is intense. Okay, I'm not ashamed of that. We can work with that. How can I be the best version of an intense person and use that for good and not for bad? How can I use it to help other people and not to glorify myself? Ultimately is what it comes down to. So control. Okay, I'm a control freak. But I can learn to manage that, to chill out a bit when I need to chill out and let things go when they don't really matter. But find those things that do fundamentally matter and focus on those. Sometimes it is just for me. Again, I'm more obsessed with weight training and cardio than most people, and what they eat than most people, and making sure that I get enough calories and enough nutrition, and then that I'm not getting too much. Like, people would see me obsessive. I made a video not that long ago talking about how everybody is a nerd about 3 things. Just get to know a person long enough, you'll figure out they know way too much about certain things. Everybody's a little OCD, obsessive about at least 3 things. For a lot of guys, it's sports. I'm not one of those. I don't care about the statistics and trading of the teams. It's all pointless to me. To me, that's nerdy. When I hear guys talking, that's totally nerdy. People will can say that stuff about Star Wars or Star Trek, whatever it is. You choose it. You're a nerd about 3 things specifically. Okay, figure out what they are. And in the process, you may find out, well, how does that relate to how the world sees me? People see me as intense. Okay, well, look at the things that I'm nerdy about. Nutrition and fitness. Okay, there's one. Enneagram. Okay, there's another one. Finding ways to connect with people is really one of my things too. As an Enneagram 6, it's all about building social security and building networks and feeling safe by knowing people. So for me to be able to get to know people on a psychological level, I'm kind of nerdy about that. That's just one of my things. It doesn't matter what your thing is, but you're nerdy about something, and it reflects some kind of attribute about you. I think, closing statement, I think we're all control freaks to some degree, whether we realize it or not. Even if you're like, hey, I'm a really laid back person though, I'm not a control freak. Well, maybe though, you're controlling your time and energy though. If you're focused on relaxing and just chilling out, you're pretty controlling of that time and space and what you do with it. Because the thing is, when it comes to time and energy and emotions, etc., you're ultimately in control of that. It's currency. You get to spend time, energy, and money and emotions however you want to do it. That's the thing. I mean, most of us are in that situation. So it says a lot about you, and that is a sense of control, isn't it? When I started this video over 7 minutes ago, I was not planning for this to be about everybody. I thought this was just about me being a control freak. But now I'm starting to realize, are we all control freaks? In the same way that we're all nerds in some way? Even if it's about something supposedly cool like football, you're still nerdy if you know all those scores and teams and trades and all that. That's nerdy. It's as nerdy as Star Trek. It's as nerdy as whatever you want to compare it to that you think's nerdy. Star Trek people can think football people are nerdy and vice versa. The concept is we want a sense of control. How can we utilize that for better and not for worse? How can we make it about other people and not ourselves? Your comments belong right here.